There's actually a character called Barnacle Bear that smokes a tobacco pipe in his cabin. It's weird that that actually got past the censorship. I don't think I remember it though. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's bad for you, but I don't see why it would... Well, I guess it makes sense that it would be censored. It would be too dark to actually show the consequences. The problem with this boss is, obviously, its difficulty here. Like, there's a fist that comes out, so it pushes you off the platforms. But the worst part is that the platforms are really small, so it's very easy to slip off them or not jump on them successfully. You have to be pretty close to the boss in order to successfully jump onto them. And on top of that, even though the platforms are moving around, you're better off not trying to adjust yourself too much so that you can get onto the one above it. Because if you walk towards the boss when you're on the platforms, you'll actually be bounced back onto the floor. So it's harder than it looks. But on the bright side, it's really easy to dodge the big thing as a whole. It lands on the leftmost part of the arena, and then the center, and then the right, and then it goes back to the center, and then the leftmost part. So it's actually a pretty easy pattern to memorize. And that, like, obviously you have to jump on the very top to damage it. And that floating thing is very intimidating at first, but it's really not. You just go all the way to the left and go all the way to the right, and you're absolutely guaranteed to dodge that pathetic laser. I had a lot of trouble with this boss when I was first playing the game, but it's not really that bad. I wish it didn't have pointless text at the start and end of it though, where it just says generic robot things. But it does, it's one of the few ways that this game barely tries to take advantage of the fact that this time the final boss is a mad scientist's personality of K. Rool. But yeah, the red fist comes out at a predictable interval. Like, it's on the left side, then it's on the right side, then it's on the left side, then it's on the right side. It's just that the biggest problem is how tense it is trying to jump onto those tiny platforms accurately. You're better off playing as Dixie because she's the smaller character. At least there isn't that much backtracking to do. But it is a little bit annoying that you have to go back here to progress to not the next world, but the world after that. How many LPs actually show off that text? Like, I knew in my heart that I would need another item, but still. I showed off the text. For some reason, he needs a surfboard as one of the ingredients to make a vehicle. I have a feeling that the materials that you're giving him to make vehicles, they wouldn't provide enough metal or whatever to make the vehicles. But it is an interesting twist on Surfer Dude character that he's actually smart enough to build vehicles. Since when does that happen? Like, he looks all cool with his sunglasses, but he's also very smart. The thing about this level is the fish that just suddenly jut out, and they come out of the logs. The logs don't really, they're part of the background. They don't pop out that much at all. Like, when you're falling down, you're stuck in the center of the camera. The camera doesn't show nearly enough of what's ahead of you. So you have to be careful when you're falling down. Because it's very easy to fall into a fish that you have no idea is coming. I was showing off the music more there. But yeah, I hate those fish. Especially considering your character sprite is a little bigger than it should be. Although I guess it's more like a model. But yeah, you gotta be careful in this level to avoid the fish. It really would be more fun to have a fire flower here. So you gotta pay good attention to the logs. And fly up, and not technically fly, but swim slowly. It's nice to have a break from holding down the run button all the time, because I don't think holding down the run button makes you swim, like, noticeably faster, or even faster at all. I like all the coral there. It's nice to see coral that isn't destroyed. Did they really think those tiny little green fish would be a threat? Those fish are the threat. I can't believe I actually remember dying in this level. Like, respawning from that checkpoint. The music is pretty ominous for this game's water levels. It's definitely memorable. Like, it's ominous, so some people are divided on it. But it's actually pretty good. It's kind of hard to see that you can go through that narrow passageway, but it's the only way. But when it's not the only way, it's pretty easy to not realize you can go through there. I don't think it's worth going to the left. I'm sure there is something over there, but you would have to sacrifice health to do it. See, right there I feel like I had to hold down the run button to avoid getting caught up with. But it's not really that much faster. And see, your sprite is so wide there, it looks pretty difficult to avoid the fish. But I figured since it would be challenging to go down there had to be a reward. And there was. You feel invincible when playing as this guy. This swordfish. Like, you just mash the run button, and anything that he comes into contact with dies. It's easy to go mad with power, pressing down the Y button over and over, and end up getting hit anyways because you're in between your attacks, which is what makes me nervous. Sadly, he doesn't last nearly long enough. Logically, I think he should have been hidden a lot earlier in the level. That would have given you more replay value. Because as it stands, it was kind of boring. I loved the music for this level. Like, the minute I came in here, I was happy right away just because I remembered liking the music. Like, it's surreal. Of course, there's a lot of, like, there's definitely focus on platforming in this level, so you're better off playing Dixie because she's smaller, so it's easier to tell when you're too close to the edge of a platform when you're playing with her instead of Kitty. You go into the background a lot in this level, but it's not like your sprite goes smaller to make it a lot more obvious that you're in the background. So it's kind of confusing. That's why I died, because my instincts weren't telling me that I was in the background. Those purple enemies, I just constantly have bad memories of them because, you know, if you jump into their heads, like their teeth are a pretty big damage box. You have to get past the green things when they're descending, even though it looks like you just barely make it without getting hurt by them. Just wait for them to start falling, and then it's going to be safe. I'm glad that most of the barrels aren't ones that you have to time. I like these barrels. Kinda. I don't like the enemies associated with them. Because when you rocket upwards, after you get spit out, you only have a split second to react to... You only have a split second to react, so you have no way of knowing whether it's supposed to go to the left or to the right to progress. And it's so easy, if you react too quickly and wrongly, to end up blasting yourself into an enemy that you had no way of knowing was going to come up until the split second it did. Like, the game would benefit from having its camera more panned out in this area. I feel like if I didn't go back to Dixie there, I would have lost her, and she would have despawned. Like, they don't make anything smaller when it's in the background, so, like, I don't know, could I get hit by that top green zinger when I was when I'm in the waterfall or not. I don't know. I don't think so. That'd be dickish. Yeah, I like the automatic barrels. It saves me an A button press, and I don't have to time it. But it's like, you don't know whether you're supposed to go left after you get launched or right. I wanted to see what was over there first. It's just a DK coin that's obnoxious to get. Unfortunately, they do this kind of trick multiple times. I don't know how you're supposed to get that thing because the metal barrel doesn't bounce off of the left wall, the left invisible wall. I feel like it despawns because I went too far away from it. I don't know what I'm expected to do because there are no walls on either side of it. And every time you face it, it faces you with its shield. And of course, you're seeing that if you jump on top of its shield, which happens because it raises its shield above it when you jump over it, you'll be on the shield. And that's gonna cause you hell later. These guys are the star of their own level, unfortunately. But obviously that's pretty far into the game. Yeah, I liked the music for this level. In the GBA version of the game, there's a second Lost World. And it's in the far left of the continental map. What? The continental map? That's a weird way of saying the overworld. But I guess overworld could apply to both the world map and the entire hub world. This is a pretty intimidating level because of the red barrel things. How far left and right they can go is limited by the vertical pulls. They can't pass past the vertical pulls. But it's pretty easy to get hit by them, especially as the bigger character. Because then your hitbox is bigger. So it's a lot more pressure to dodge them. At first I ignored this because I couldn't see what was above it because the camera wasn't panned out enough. So I thought it was just going to be bananas and not be worth it. Fortunately, it's a fun bonus game instead. This bonus game could have been a lot harder. There could have been enemies to dodge. You just hold down an A to fall onto and grab onto the rope below you. And I feel like you'd have to be trying to fall into that piranha. Unfortunately, the same can't be said about the piranha below here. You aren't even gonna know there's a piranha until you actually fall in the water. And once you do, you only have so much time to get out of there. And it's not like you're given an exact time limit either. You can keep jumping to avoid it though. But it'll get you eventually. It feels so underwhelming that the music feels so underwhelming. It works for a very early level in the game, which this feels like it's ripping off, but it doesn't really work for a level this far into the game. You'd think the music would be more intimidating because of the red barrels. Yeah, this bonus game is harder than it looks. Like, it's so bullshit that it ends even if you have two characters on just one hit. Yeah, it's easy to get hit by the red barrels because they don't give you very much space between them. You have a huge advantage as Dixie in this level. Like, especially because you can stop her flight in midair and land faster. See, I was stuck between a rock and a hard place there, and I end up having to fall into the ocean to my death. At least it's better than actually having a bottomless pit that is guaranteed to kill you. At least you can save yourself. But yeah, this is really tense. Like, isn't it bullshit how that zinger is placed? Like, it's bad enough you have to dodge the red barrel thing, but You can't jump the wrong way or you'll jump into the green bee. I don't think they try very hard with the world map music. I mean, the continental map music, I think that's better. Can you imagine if I died there by slipping off the edge, holding the barrel for the power-up? Fortunately, I didn't. But, like, my character, like, hung on to the edge and couldn't move to the right, so I had to jump. Speaking of jumping, I feel like it's better to just jump over those hedgehogs. It's too much effort to actually kill them. I mean, you have to use your melee attack, but, you know, you never know when it'll run out at the worst possible moment. You have to be in the background to get that O. But you don't want to fall to your death, so you're better off throwing your partner at it. And it's I thought when playing the game, it's very fortunate that when you throw your partner down a pit, he actually comes back. I guess because I walked off screen quick enough, he didn't have enough time to fall all the way down into a bottomless pit, because I'm pretty high up in the level. I thought, oh great, not this character. Like when I was playing the level. But like it's an interesting character to play as. It just feels like so, like, this is a platformer. You're supposed to be able to jump on the enemies in order to kill them. And you can do that, but the enemies are so tall that you're better off not trying. Because, like, the ones that bounce on their tails you'll probably get hurt trying to jump onto them. And the blue enemies, you need to jump into them with Kiddy Kong if you want to defeat them by jumping on them. Usually you're better off just throwing barrels at them. And of course melee attacks won't work. Like, they get mad and turn red and charge after you if you try to attack them the wrong way. But anyways, I do think it's an interesting challenge, but to play as the elephant, and how they force you to shoot upwards there. But it's so annoying when you're launched out of it facing the wrong way. Like, they should have forced you to face left at that point, because left is the only place you want to go. Left is where the enemies are, so why would you want to face right? And that's what I meant by there's another bullshit DK coin here. I swear I was pressing the R button and nothing was happening, even though my water meter wasn't empty. I could literally hear the clacking of the R button on my GameCube controller, but I wasn't shooting water at him. I guess that's why you should be further away from the enemy when trying to shoot water at them. How does water kill the enemies? Like, I guess we have to assume that it's actually such a magical elephant that it either shoots out water at such high pressure that it cuts straight through them, and we just don't see it because that'd be too gory. So it's either extremely pressurized water, or less likely, it's extremely hot water. But it's not like it's a dragon, it's just an elephant. I guess that's why it's kind of stupid, but I do like the idea of the water meter mechanic. It's just kind of annoying to me that I obsessively fill up water every single time that I can. Like, it's so convenient that the waterfall in the background is actually so close to you that you can get water from it in the foreground, when it just looks like your character is facing right, not facing towards the background. I guess it would be better graphics if your character turned towards the background to get water from the waterfall.